Hello, dear ones. We'd like to share a song for you written by Swami Kriyananda. This is called The Secret of Laughter. The secret of laughter lies in the laughing, not in the search for joy. It's a swallow winging on the wind, it's innocence in a boy. Lurulurulero, lurulurulai. Joy will come to anyone whose heart has learned to fly. Lurulurulero, lurulurulai. Joy will come to anyone whose heart has learned to fly. Joy in the singing, not in the song sung, welcome but never crave. If you think that laughter lies in things, to things you'll be but a slave. Lurulurulero, lurulurulai. Joy will come to anyone whose heart has learned to fly. Lurulurulero, lurulurulai. Joy will come to anyone whose heart has learned to fly. Joy in the giving, not in the gaining. Grasp and you'll never sing. You could win the world and still be poor. Win peace and live like a king. Lurulurulero, lurulurulai. Joy will come to anyone whose heart has learned to fly. Lurulurulero, lurulurulai. Joy will come to anyone whose heart has learned to fly. Sing when the sun shines, sing when the rain falls, sing when your road seems strange. In a tempest seize the lightning flash and ride the winds of change. Lurulurulero, lurulurulai. Joy will come to anyone whose heart has learned to fly. Lurulurulero, lurulurulai. Joy will come to anyone whose heart has learned to fly.
It has seemed to us that Divine Mother decided that humanity had been hurting the oceans, hurting the rainforests, ruining so much of the earth and the sky and the air and the water, that she finally just said, okay, that's it, you're grounded. And so all of humanity is being forced to sequester, to be more quiet, to stay home. I watched a little video clip of an Italian doctor yesterday. He gave a tour of a hospital, and then he just gave a short interview, and he was saying, it's time for everyone to stay home and think about life. And I thought, that's what Divine Mother wants. She wants everyone to go inside and think and ponder and meditate and go deep in the self. It's important for us to remember that it's not a punishment to go inside. It's an opportunity. And we are taught in yoga that circumstances are neutral. It's our reactions to them that make something good or bad. And the more that we can be even-minded, non-reactive in all that's going on, the better we will be, the healthier we will be, the happier we will be. There's a story that I love from the Indian tradition. There's a guru who is out walking and he's set upon by ruffians, and they beat him up for sport and leave him in a ditch unconscious. Well, his disciples go out looking for him. They find him. They lovingly carry him back to the ashram. They nurse him gently back to consciousness. And one of the brothers is holding the saint's head up and pouring a little bit of milk into his mouth. And he asks the saint, "Do you know who is feeding you? Do you recognize who is feeding you?" And the saint opened his eyes, and with a blissful smile on his face, he said, "Yes, the same one who beat me up earlier." That's where we are headed. We are striving for that state of consciousness in which everything is equal. As the Bhagavad Gita says, a clod of earth, gold, it's all the same. We're so even-minded and not reactive as to what is good or what is bad, but always seeing the divine in everything that happens.
This song that we sang, The Secret of Laughter, has always been one of my favorites, and it expresses a similar sentiment in the last verse. Sing when the sun shines, sing when the rain falls, sing when your road seems strange. In a tempest, seize the lightning flash and ride the winds of change. I dare say the winds of change are blowing a bit just now, and I think we've all felt them, and we probably will continue to feel them for some time because we're faced with some degree of uncertainty about the path forward. Well, I can give a little bit of a sense of direction on the path forward, which is that we all, as Nirmala is saying, the universe, Divine Mother, however we choose to think of it, is giving us a strong hint right now that we need to take a time out and re-examine, reassess, reevaluate, and we also need to go within. And the only way to achieve what she was suggesting about being even-minded is to have a deeper inner life. Otherwise, we are tossed around on the circumstances of life, and that those circumstances may be very positive one day and may seem very positive, may seem very negative on another day. And to many people, these days and weeks to come are going to feel very negative because it's unfamiliar territory. We're not able to do the things we're accustomed to doing, and our sphere of activity, our field of endeavor is a bit narrowed. But in fact, it is never narrowed. It's just adjusted. And this is something that we learn on the path of yoga or the path of realization, is we learn to always look inside. Where is the truth inside? Because if we can find it on the inside, there's a beautiful line in Autobiography of a Yogi. Yogananda is quoting a South Indian scripture, I believe. And the saying is, he who is not willing to find the truth inside will not find it by carrying the bother, by traveling hither and thither outwardly. And so in our own lives, if we look inside, if we find the truth, Christ said, you will know the truth and the truth will make you free. If you find that truth, then everywhere you go, you'll find it all around. And so find that truth. The song begins, the song that we sang begins with the words, "The secret of laughter lies in the laughing, not in the search for joy." And that's a way of saying that in another place, not in a song, but Swami Kriyananda made an interesting observation. He said, joy is the answer, not the goal. Joy is the solution, not the goal. And if we think about that, if we sort of pull that apart a little bit for the meaning in it, what we see is that if joy is the goal, then it's always just a little bit out of reach. And for many people in this world, that's what happiness is. Happiness is something that they're always sort of reaching for. It's over the next hill. It's with the next paycheck or the next big accomplishment or the next outward circumstance that conditions it. And that always holds us a bit at a distance from it. Whereas if we find joy within, then every other circumstance in life can become a reflection of that joy to us. And so in these days to come, find the secret of laughter inside, because then there's joy in every moment and in every situation. Not joy about the situation, because after all, some situations are very tragic. Loved ones may be lost in this pandemic. Fortunes may be lost, etc. There are all sorts of situations that are going to be quite challenging. We don't just force a silly grin on our faces, but when the joy comes from deep inside, then it brings with it peace. It brings with it compassion. It brings with it the ability to respond. Nirmala was saying we can't live on the basis of our reactions. If we react, then we're tossed about on the waves of life. But what having that joy can give us is it can give us the ability to respond. Then we can respond to the changing tapestry of life appropriately, the changing storms of life, the changing winds of life. We can learn to set the sails on our boat appropriate to the wind, and even if those winds are blowing exactly against us, we can still turn in one direction or another direction and use that wind to help propel us forward. So in these days, take the opportunity to go within. I've discovered, a little bit to my dismay, but it's a helpful realization. I've discovered that if we use the hours in the day in a new and challenging way, which is to say, if we challenge ourselves to do something new, to break some new ground inwardly, then we move forward and we progress. Otherwise, habit will tend, even if we have a full 24 hours in the day where we're not working, we're not, our day is very different perhaps from how it had been some weeks or months ago. If we take advantage of those hours in new ways, then we don't fall into the habit of just kind of reproducing the same effort, the same trajectory that we had had in weeks and months past. Let us take that opportunity. It's a great blessing to be able to apply our energy and creativity and will to achieving new heights in our inner lives, which will in turn bring more harmony and peace to the outer world as we are able to go and embrace that in time to come. Namaste.